Good evening. I'm Kate Lipper-Garabedian. I live at Mystic Avenue, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about two of the sections of our current charter that relate to citizens being able to participate in the democratic process in our city, and suggest to you that we keep the threshold numbers for both of those requirements as they currently exist. So those are sections 8.1, which relate to free petitions, and section 8.2, which relate to citizen initiative measures. And I would recommend, again, that the thresholds that are required stay as they are for at least three reasons. One is I think it's critically important that the citizens of Melrose know that they have a voice in the governance of our city and are able to participate in the democratic process. I think that's a pillar of our nation and one of the strengths of Melrose. And to that point, I listened to the comments that were made by the committee that provided the recommendations to you to date. I provided written testimony to them. It's in the record. I also provided verbal testimony at the last meeting. And at one of those meetings, the committee members were asked whether there was any problem with the current thresholds, and the two aldermen who served on that committee indicated that they had had no evidence that there have been abuses of the thresholds as they exist. And so someone opined maybe this is a solution in search of a problem, which I would submit might be the case here. And then the other reason that I think that the threshold numbers as they exist are appropriate is because if you take a look at other city charters around the Commonwealth, which I have, ours are very much aligned with their numbers and in proportion to our population. So just very briefly, if I might, the current charter requires that 50 voters bring a free petition to the board or school committee, and 250 can file a proposed initiative petition. I was pleased that the committee accepted my recommendation that we not increase the number required for the free petition and leave it at 50. Originally, they had considered increasing by four times the number of people necessary to bring a citizen initiative, but they reduced it to simply increasing it by 100%. But again, that would move it from 250 to 500 people in the first instance, and there's just no evidence that this has been an abuse. And I think it's a terrible time to be signaling to people in Melrose that our government is going to be less accessible to them. And in fact, simply getting 250 signatures, having some recent personal experience with collecting signatures, isn't an easy feat, and it's only the first step in a process. After that, the city solicitor still has to review it, the city clerk then has to review it, it has to go back to the public, and I believe within 30 days, or something along those lines, you need 15% of all the voters in Melrose to sign on before it would even proceed thereafter. So again, for all of these reasons, I think that the thresholds that we have in our current charter are appropriate, and I would ask that you keep them as they are. So thank you so much for your time and your service.